Greetings everyone, Dr. Melanie Crites here with 360 Pelvic Health Institute and the Center for Men's and Women's Urology, coming to you with another segment. And I want to talk to you ladies today about something that it's really hard to pinpoint. It's hard to put your finger on. And typically it's something that we find for those physicians who do manual therapy, but we oftentimes find it on radiology imaging like CT scan or ultrasound. It's called pelvic congestion syndrome. And lots of times what happens is the blood supply to the pelvis becomes congested, it becomes stagnant, and it sits there and it causes pelvic pain and pelvic tension. And it's lots of times associated with chronic pelvic pain syndrome, voiding dysfunction, and just imbalance of the pelvic floor muscles. It can also be associated with painful intercourse. So for instance, one of the common things that I see with pelvic congestion syndrome are ladies who come in and they say, I can't climax during intercourse. And what happens is when our bodies become aroused, all of the blood supply rushes to the pelvis. That's physiologically what it's supposed to do. But the problem is when there's no release, that pelvic blood supply sits there, and when there's no release, it doesn't flow back out of the pelvis. So it sits there and becomes congested. And not to be crude, it's kind of that thing that guys talk about called blue balls. Same sort of thing. And I know that's kind of a crude thing, but that's typically what everybody jokes about, or at least what guys joke about when they're talking by themselves, if they would admit it. So the same thing can happen with females. So the pelvic blood supply sits there, it becomes congested, and it can cause pain. And it can be very toothache-y in nature, just a deep, deep ache. And lots of times what it requires is things like ibuprofen or aspirin to help with the inflammation in the pelvis, as well as massage therapy and pelvic floor physical therapy. We even have those yoga gurus who can help to mobilize that pelvic motility and normalize those pelvic muscles. So if this is something that maybe sounds familiar to you, and it may be something that you're struggling with, perhaps see your urologist or gynecologist and find out if that is potentially what's going on, especially ladies if you're not climaxing during intercourse. So hope this helps. I know it's a little bit of a bizarre subject, but I still feel it's very relevant. So keep sending in your questions, everyone. Thanks so much, and thanks for letting 360 Pelvic Health help restore your confidence.